Have you ever felt completely and totally stuck? You know, like you're pouring all of your energy into something and getting absolutely nothing back. Well, today we're going to dive into a really powerful framework from behavioral analyst Steve Sisler's book, Think Like Jesus. We're going to see how a timeless parable gives us a surprisingly practical tool for navigating our modern lives, our careers, and yeah, our relationships. So let's just start with this one big question. I want you to think about your life right now. Are you pouring your time, your emotional energy, your heart into projects or jobs or even relationships that just aren't bearing any fruit? It's a tough question to face, I know, but it is so essential. All right, so the whole framework for this idea comes from an ancient story, the parable of the fig tree from the Gospel of Luke. Now, Steve Sisler, who's researched these kinds of texts for over 40 years, doesn't just see this as some old story. Nope, he sees it as a powerful diagnostic tool that you and I can use right now. So here's the heart of it. You can almost feel the owner's frustration, can't you? For 3 years straight, he's waited. He's invested his time and his land, and he's gotten nothing. The tree might look great, lush leaves, the whole deal, but it's barren. It's just taking up valuable space and sucking up resources. But then the gardener steps in. He says, hold on, give me one more chance, just one more year of focused effort, digging around it, fertilizing it, giving it every possible chance to succeed. And this brings in this element of patience and grace. But, and this is so important, it also sets a hard deadline. Hope is not an infinite strategy here. So let's pull this into our world right now. Steve Sisler puts it perfectly. People are a lot like plants. We invest in them, and naturally we hope for some kind of fruit in return. So what happens when we realize we're just watering dead plants? Well, the cost is huge. It is incredibly high. These kinds of relationships just drain your emotional battery. They create this constant low-level hum of stress inside you. And maybe worst of all, they literally stop you from growing because they're taking up the very soil in your life where something healthy and vibrant could be planted. And I love how Steve really unpacks this. He says a healthy relationship requires 100 input. But when it gets lopsided, when it becomes 100 to nothing kind of deal, and you just keep pouring your energy in, well, it just slowly chips away at your own self-worth. It is an absolute self-respect killer. So why? Why do we do this? Why do we stay stuck in these situations that are so clearly not working for us? Well, this brings us to a really core psychological idea that Sisler talks about. He calls it the deserve system. Basically, the deserve system is a mindset of blame and entitlement. It's that feeling we get when we believe that our happiness, our success, our sense of fulfillment is somebody else's job. It turns us into passive passengers in our own lives, just waiting for things to happen to us. Come on, we've all said this, right? Or at least we've felt it. But listen really closely to the language. When you say, I deserve to be treated better, what you're really doing is making another person accountable for your feelings. You're waiting for them to change so that you can finally be happy. Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Look at the contrast on this slide. On the left, you've got the deserve system. It's passive, it's demanding, and let's be honest, it's totally powerless. But then, on the right, Sisler gives us the alternative, the desire system. And this one, it's active, it's empowering, it completely flips the script from you need to change to, okay, I need to make a change. And that little shift, well, it's everything. Moving from that deserve column over to the desire column isn't just playing with words. It is a fundamental shift in your entire mindset. It's all about taking back your personal power. So, just take a second here. Be honest with yourself. When you're frustrated with a situation in your life, what does that internal monologue sound like? Is it all about what other people owe you, or is it about what you truly desire and what you're going to do to make it happen? And this is the logical next step, isn't it? When you start operating from the desire system, you recognize your own power, your own agency. You're no longer just sitting around waiting for the tree to magically change. You're taking full responsibility for where you invest your precious time and energy. The path forward is actually pretty simple, but that doesn't mean it's easy. First, you have to get brutally honest about what you want. Not what you think you deserve, but what you truly, deeply desire. Second, you have to accept that you and only you are 100% responsible for getting it. And third, you have to be the one to start the change. This leads us right to the final and most actionable part of the whole parable, the art of pruning. This is what it actually looks like to cut down the tree in our own lives. And I know it sounds harsh, but it's not an act of destruction. It's an act of creation.
And hey, let's be clear, this isn't just about toxic friendships or bad relationships. This applies to that business idea that's just spinning its wheels, or the career path that's making you miserable, or any project where you've invested so much that you feel trapped by what they call the sunk cost fallacy.
We cling to these things for some very, very human reasons. We get trapped by the time we've already put in. We're terrified of the unknown. What if nothing better ever comes along? We slip right back into that deserve system, just waiting for things to magically fix themselves. Or, and this is the weirdest one, we just get comfortable in our own misery.
And this right here brilliantly sums up Sisler's core message. This whole parable, it isn't about condemnation or judgment. He points out that the original meaning of a word like repent is just to change your mind, to change your direction. It's not wrong to be wrong, it's wrong to stay wrong. Pruning that barren tree is an act of pure liberation. So we'll end with this question right here. As you go about your day, just let this roll around in your mind. What is one barren tree in your life that's using up valuable soil? And what would it look like to finally stop watering it and instead plant something that could actually grow?